All right, this is the Algebra 2 Unit 3 Lesson 1 video. This entire unit is dealing with matrices. Matrices are a way of organizing data or information in math, and we're basically going to talk first about just terminology, and then we'll look at how we can organize, multiply, add, and things like that with matrices. So we're going to be doing operations with them, and then we'll show how they can be used to solve systems of equations. But first things first, we just need to talk about what a matrix is. So a matrix is what we call an array of numbers. So an array means just an organized group of numbers. So you're going to see them bound by these brackets, and then inside there you're going to have a group of values. Like these. The significance of kind of where they're located doesn't really matter at this point. What we need to talk about is kind of just in general terminology. So this is a matrix. A matrix is made up of rows and columns. So these would be my rows going across, and then columns, of course, go up and down. And when we talk about what the dimensions of a matrix are, we always say the rows times the columns. So this matrix that I've given you here has 2 rows and 3 columns. So this would be a 2 by 3 matrix because it has 2 rows and 3 columns. So that's kind of one big idea, is just rows, columns, and then we refer to a matrix by its dimensions. And then typically, the way you see this is, I'll draw another example. You'll have a matrix, and it usually is named by a letter. Let me kind of draw another one here. Let's do a slightly bigger one. Let's say I have this matrix here, and we'll just put some values in it. So you can see that this matrix A is a 3-row, 4-column matrix. It's 3 by 4. And it is called matrix A. So now the other thing they're going to have you do in this lesson is just identify elements within a matrix. So an element of a matrix is just one individual number. So if I said the following, tell me what element is element 3, 2 in matrix A. That means I'm looking for row 3, column 2. So again, these are our rows, 1, 2, 3, and we have columns 1, 2, 3, and 4. So row 3, column 2 is going to be this item here. That's where that's coming in. Let's do another example. Let's say they want to know A1, 4. Well, that's going to be this element right there, which has a value of 4. What about item 2, 1? That's going to be this item right here. Second row, first column. And then just one more example. Let's say element 3, 3 is going to be 3, 3 is going to be right here. And so it would be -1. So that's one thing they're going to have you do in the lesson. They're going to have you identify individual elements within the matrix. You see that there. And then they're going to ask you to do a transpose matrix. And a transpose matrix basically means that each row becomes a column and each column becomes a row. So let me show you how that would work. So let me just do another matrix real quick. Let's say we have matrix B. And we'll do it to be a 3 by 4 as well. 3, 3, 7, 1, 0, 4, -4, 2, -2. Okay, so if this was matrix B, and we want to look at what it is when it's transposed, we're going to write it like this, B, do a different color here for us, B, T would be the transpose matrix. So if the original matrix is a 3 by 4 matrix, then the transpose matrix is going to be a 4 by 3 matrix. So that's the first thing you need to understand, that when you transpose a matrix, it becomes the opposite dimensions. Instead of 3 by 4 in this case, is going to be 4 by 3. Also, row 1 becomes column 1. So this row here, I'll do it by color here, this row becomes this column. This second row becomes this column. And the bottom row becomes the final third column. And that's pretty much it. So to transpose a matrix, you take each row and you make it into the column that corresponds with it in the second one. So row 1 goes column 1, row 2 goes column 2, row 3 goes column 3. That's what you're doing at number 5 and number 4, 5, and 6. And then 7 and 8 are just review questions about linear functions. That's going to reach back to the previous lesson. So make sure you go back and check on how to do inverses, and you'll be fine on those. So it's a short lesson, but that's it for just kind of introduction to matrices.